apps that actually helps you want to keep investing over the long run. And that doesn't charge you a bunch of money in fees and so on. Because by the way, fees add up, whether that's $1, $2, or $3. I know apps basically cost like $8 a month to make it seem like it's no big deal. Overall, all those things should be free. You shouldn't be paying for any of those things. So charging someone $8 might not sound like a lot compared to Netflix, but overall, investing it is a lot when you're just getting started. And if an app is motivating you to actually sell and buy, making the whole thing a game, it's not a game. It's real life. It's real money. And when you retire, you will need that money. If you don't have it, you will be screwed over. So that's why you really want to consider the app you actually use overall. Now, let me show you guys the power of compound interest, okay? This is why it's so important that you actually stay invested, that you're patient, and you allow compound interest to actually run wild. So if you invested, for example, 200 bucks from the age of 20 to the age of 50, the answer is you would have had invested like around $72,000 because 200 over 30 years is just $72,000. Now that's a lot of money, but it's not really impressive. So when you add compound interest, meaning hey, you're earning 8% on that money every single year over and over and over again on average, the answer is that 72K turns into about $293,000. That's four times the original amount. Now, if you said, well, I'm going to let the dividend actually reinvest itself, well, that turns into now, for example, 434,000 just with an extra 2% that you're actually reinvesting off the dividends. Now, if you say, I don't want to do just 200, I want to do 250, just 250 bucks from the age of 20 to the age of 50, you would have about $542,000. That is a lot of money, and that is the power of compound interest. And whenever you have, for example, an app that wants you to basically do a lot of activity, the answer is you usually miss out on everything. One of the hardest things to understand is basically investing is not about activity. It's not about doing anything. It's just about doing the same thing over a long time. So if you're going to be looking for an investment app, which app should you actually be looking at, and exactly what are the features and the benefits you actually want to see? Overall, after doing research, I basically found five things you want to look for when you're actually looking at an investment app. And the first thing is you want size. Size matters in this case, okay? It does. Size actually matters here. Because if you have a company that's brand new, trying out, for example, cryptocurrency, trying out this feature, that feature. In reality, guys, although companies might sound cool, they might have their own app, they might have money, companies can basically go bankrupt. And you don't want to have your money invested into a company that can go bankrupt because it's basically small. And yes, we have, for example, insurance, like up to 500K, but overall, you don't want to deal with that entire thing. Okay, so size does matter. And the top three brokerages right now are Fidelity, Schwab's, and Vanguard. And these people have been around like forever. Forever, okay? Like since the very beginning. So you want something with size. Size matters. Number two is fees. Fees matter a lot. If somebody charges you, for example, 2%, that can basically mean like a third of all their profits. A third, for those not good with math, is like 33% of your profits basically gone in fees. Okay, being charged $5 compounded across 30 years per month, basically at 8% can basically be a lot of money. It might not sound like a lot, but $5, I think every dollar 30 years at 10% or 8%, it's about 17 bucks. Okay, so the answer is it adds up fast, and the idea is like, okay, you have this cool app, it looks cute, it looks pretty, but if it does the same exact thing, I don't care how good it looks. I just want basically to have as much money as I can. So why would I put my money in here just so I can basically look at a pretty app? Okay, so fees matter a lot. Costs matter a lot when you're looking at it, for example, over 30, 40, 50 years. So look for something that does not have, for example, a lot of fees. And usually the big companies don't have that many fees because basically they have volume. Now, number three, you want to actually have a company that has great customer service. I know apps that I tested, they basically hide the customer service number. They hide the emails. You want you to use this robot. And the robot is sometimes like stupid and dumb and just does not understand the question you're basically asking. Now, overall, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be invested into a company where they can't even afford to actually pay for customer service. It's actually pretty much not a good sign. So having good customer service, usually big benefit. Fidelity, Schwab's, Vanguard have great customer service. And some ones, like some other ones have good customer service, but in reality, they're very limited. They take forever to actually get connected. That's why I really don't like those small apps. Number four is You want a long-term interface. And what that basically means, you want an app that's basically built for long-term investors because overall, that's how you're going to make the most of your money via compound interest, via invested diligently, and also just being patient. So you want an app that's long-term. And the more boring it looks, the better. Because investing is not supposed to be like fun or exciting. It's just supposed to be making you money. That's what you want. I don't want any excitement for my investment. I want to have my money there, all right? I want it to grow. I want to see it grow. So I don't care about colors, okay? Now, that's a big thing. Now, number five is, okay, you want to have investment availability. I know apps and platforms that they did not offer like index fund investments. They didn't offer, for example, ETFs that had indexes in them because in reality, well, not ETFs that have indexes in them, okay, or ETFs that track certain indexes. Because in reality, they wanted people to buy single stocks because they knew it was going to be volume of transactions, like trading back and forth and so on. You want investment apps that basically have all these five features: size, low fees, on top of that, customer service, also long-term interface, and number five, have good investments availability. Okay, so index funds and ETFs and so on. So that's the big thing. Now you're probably wondering, Tommy, what investment app do you actually use? So I'm coming here because I want to show you guys on my phone exactly the app I use and why I actually use them. Now, by the way, quick story here over the past 6 years or so, I had basically every single investment app you probably imagine. I probably had it, and I tested it out, had money in there, I used it back and forth. I flip flop from this app to that app. And in reality, what I found is that the more simple something is, the bigger it is, usually the better it is, okay? You don't want to have a very complicated app. You don't want to have a lot of excitement. You don't want to have an app that basically is not for long term use. You just have like all these other features in there. The answer is the more limited it is for what I want, usually the better it is. So the app I currently use right now is basically Vanguard. I use Vanguard, okay? And in Vanguard, I have about like 99, no, like 100% of all of my investment money, like for investing in stuff, like into stocks and so on, it's invested into Vanguard. Now, why Vanguard? Because it has size, it has customer service, it has low fees, it has a very boring interface. On top of that, it actually helps me keep investing. Everything about that app is long term. It's not exciting. Nothing crazy happens on there. That's exactly what I actually like and what I like to see when it comes to an investment app. So right here is actually my Vanguard investment app, and as you can see, I have like around like 293K. Right now the market is down, but that's normal. That's a part of the game. And there's not anything to do with this. There's no like fancy tickers. It's just, are you buying? Are you selling? It's red. I can call anytime I want. It's big. It's everything you actually need, and it's not fancy. And the fees are super super low. So over time, everything I'm doing here is just basically I'm investing 20% of my income every single month, long term, keeping it going, keeping it going, keeping it going. If I have a question, I call in, they answer, and I don't have any fear about like, hey, you know what's gonna happen? Vanguard is gonna go bankrupt because the odds of that happening are slim. But you know, it's not to say it's impossible, but it's like very slim compared to the other apps I have where it's basically like, oh my gosh, now they have a credit card, now they have like a debit card, now they have like crypto, now they're getting into this, they're getting into that. There's always something new going on with these apps, and what I want most of all is stability because this money, which is like for retirement, like 30, 40, 50 years into the future, the answer is you don't want excitement here. You want like predictability. And by the way, when I first started investing, I started with $7. That's all I had. $7 I put towards investing. I kept putting money in, putting money in, and over time, it actually grew. I use several different apps. I've used Acorns, I use M1 Finance, I use Stash, I use SoFi, I use Robinhood, I use Wealthfront, I've used Capital, I've used all the investment apps. So what I found is usually simplicity works best. Size helps a lot. And if you have a brokerage account, and they're offering you, for example, Vanguard Investments, okay, or Fidelity Invest. I don't think that's actually offer Fidelity. I think they do actually because they offer anything on this. Honestly, that everything. But if they're offering you these things, right? Like, why not go straight to the source? That's the idea, okay. But overall, guys, that is it for this video, and I made it because honestly, there are some platforms out there, some apps out there that I really don't like. Because they basically try to make the whole thing like a game, and investing is not a game. And people end up losing money, like real money. And I get calls, people saying, Tommy, I have $1,000 invested into this thing, but I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do with this crypto coin? I want to put my money in here. And it's so dangerous because ignorance is a real thing. And when it costs you money, and when you're broke, and you basically just want to get started, every time you waste money, every time you lose money, you're not just losing money, you're losing your time. This takes a lot of time to earn $8 or $15, okay? So That's the entire idea. So I put my money into Vanguard. The three companies I recommend overall are Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab's. Schwab's is nice. Like they have some good features in there. Fidelity is also nice. Vanguard is the most boring one. And as you guys know, I am the most boring investor on this platform. That's why I have him. I love him, okay? Fees are super low. I like it. Now, as always, guys, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, comment down below Schwab's, Fidelity, or Vanguard.